Modi is currently, he's in fact come there after having held wide-ranging talks with the State Councillor Aung San Suu Kyi, and 11 agreements having been signed between India and Myanmar. Right now, Prime Minister Modi is in Bagan, the heritage historic city. That is, those are the visuals of the Ananda Temple where Prime Minister Modi is visiting there. Remember, this city, the Bagan city, is around 150 kilometers from the capital Naypyidaw, and Prime Minister Modi is visiting Bagan. Right now, he's visiting the Ananda Temple there. These visuals from this Ananda Temple. Remember, it's a very famous temple there in the Bagan city of Myanmar, and of course it has its own history there. It's a Buddhist temple, of course, that was built earlier on, and the impressive temple was also titled the Westminster Abbey of Burma. In fact, the popularity, the famous, how famous this temple is well known about in the country, and of course in the neighboring areas there. In fact, let's tell you more about this temple. And the Buddhist temple houses 4 standing Buddhas, each one facing the cardinal direction. And well, the temple is said to be an architectural wonder in a fusion of modern and adopted the Indian style of architecture. Remember, the impressive temple has also been titled the Westminster Abbey of Burma. These are the visuals of Prime Minister Modi visiting inside the Ananda Temple. Prime Minister Modi had reached Bagan just a short while back, and he is visiting the Ananda Temple, remember, which is also so very important because it is being renovated by the Archaeological Survey of India. And in fact, from here on, from Ananda Temple, Prime Minister Modi will also be visiting the Bagan viewing tower, from where one gets a very good view of all the temples and monuments there in the country. These are the visuals from inside the Ananda Temple. Prime Minister Modi is seeing those exhibits there that's present there inside the premises of the Ananda Temple. Of course, he is accompanied by people there from inside the Ananda Temple. He's taking the whole view of the inside of the temple, and making himself familiar with the very famous temple, the Ananda Temple in the Bagan city of Myanmar. Prime Minister Modi there offering his obeisance, his prayers there at the Ananda Temple. And let's also tell you a bit of a background about the Ananda Temple. Like I said, it's located in Bagan, Myanmar. It's a Buddhist temple, and of course this is the temple that houses 4 standing Buddhas. Of course, we are seeing those in our visuals as well, illustrations there of the standing Buddhas, and each one facing the cardinal direction of east, north, west and south. And not just that, the temple is said to be an architectural wonder, and the visuals are clearly telling us what architectural wonder this Ananda Temple is. The impressive temple, remember, has also been titled the Westminster Abbey of Burma as well. And telling you a bit more about the history and the background of the temple. Well, the temple was in fact damaged in the earthquake of 1975. However, it has been fully restored and is well maintained there by those frequent painting, those beautiful paintings that we are seeing on our screens, and the whitewashing of the walls. Of course, those really tall standing Buddhas is what this temple is also known for, the Buddhist temple that houses 4 standing Buddhas. Prime Minister Modi there taking a tour of inside the Ananda Temple in Bagan city of Myanmar and offering his obeisance there at the Buddhist temple. And in fact, this is a highly revered temple, the Ananda Temple in Bagan, where Prime Minister Modi is right now. He is visiting the Ananda Temple, and he's offering his prayers, he's offering his obeisance there at the Buddhist temple. This temple has also been renovated by the Archaeological Survey of India. In fact, just more of the history of this Ananda Temple, which is very important for us to know. This was once known as Ananda Temple, which comes from the phrase Anantopinya in Sanskrit, which actually means endless wisdom. But the word Ananda, in fact, also means bliss. The name there clearly symbolizes what it means. The Ananda Temple there in Bagan city of Myanmar, where Prime Minister Modi is visiting, he's offering his prayers, he's taking a tour of inside of the Ananda Temple. This is a very popular, very famous temple of Bagan in Myanmar, a highly revered temple in the Bagan city in Myanmar. From here, Prime Minister Modi will also be visiting the Bagan viewing tower, which is again a very important, significant site there in Myanmar, because that gives a very good view of all the temples, around 2,000 temples and monuments there across the country. Well, these are the visuals coming in from inside of the Ananda Temple in Bagan city in Myanmar, where Prime Minister Modi is visiting right now. He's offering his prayers and offering his obeisance there in Bagan in Myanmar, the Ananda Temple. And there we are seeing those visuals of Prime Minister Modi there writing down, penning down his views in that diary inside the temple. Of course, must have been a memorable tour for Prime Minister Modi. It's a very famous, very popular, highly revered temple in Bagan in Myanmar. And also, let's tell you his agenda for the day today. In fact, after visiting the Ananda Temple, Prime Minister Modi is going to be visiting the Bagan viewing tower, and after that he will be flying back to Yangon, where he will be addressing the Indian community there at around 7:45. We got your report just a short while back, where Indian community has already gathered to hear and to meet the Prime Minister. And well, earlier on in the day, Prime Minister Modi had a wide-ranging talks, a meeting there with the State Councillor Aung San Suu Kyi, and where 11 agreements were signed between India and Myanmar. But right now, what we're getting you on our screens are the visuals